So here I am. I've just been to a sports bike shop in Leeds, and also J&S ended up buying the grip puppies from J&S, but tried also asking about the little mount and cable kit for the Garmin XT2 GPS unit, because I obviously bought that last week and I've got the bracket and everything on the KTM but not on here. And this came with this little kind of Ducati branded satellite navigation box thing, but it is a few years old now. It's sort of okay, kind of keeps me going, but given that I've got that other one, when I get the little mount for that, and it's probably only going to take me a short while to fit it because I'll just fit it into the wire that's already here, but neither of them had it. So anyway, let's get back on the road. So out we are on the Multistrada 1260S, 2018 model, brand new in every way apart from being 5 years old. I say brand new in every way. It has done now 1,317 miles. A bike that's been looked after indoors, in storage, pretty much most of its time, I think. Looking at the bike in detail, it's pretty clear that it is in fantastic shape. Really is like new. Looking a bit splattered from flies at the minute, because yesterday I rode it all the way up from Coventry where I bought it. At the time I bought it, it just had 1,170 miles on it, and it was just so good to get back on this bike and actually remember how good it sounds. I don't think you'll hear the sound very much through the I don't know if you can hear some clattering in the background. That's the building works going on there, not the bike engine. So we're going to head back home now and just fit these grip puppies, which should be just a quick job to do, and make the grips a little bit more comfy on the hands, you know. It has just got so much torque, this bike, and there is no like you have to be up at a certain rev range to get that torque to kick in and all this nonsense. It's just there, you just put it in, and with that Termignoni full race exhaust system, I've got the baffle in, but it sounds fantastic. It really does. I mean, if ever you want to get a bike that has, for me at least, some real character, real spirit, and sounds fabulous, this really is a bike. In fact, for me, the bike. With a combination of this bike and this exhaust system, it really is brilliant, you know. I don't know if you're going to hear the growl of that exhaust through this mic or not, but it really does revive the spirits to the time when I had this bike. It was only, I think, was it last August I sold mine? And ever since I sold it, I've been thinking I really shouldn't have sold it. Want to get another. The one I sold was I think only had 4,000 and some miles on it, so that was a really well looked after bike too. And I thought, well, if I'm going to be buying a 5-year-old bike, I want one that's got really low mileage on. I mean, I don't think I could have found one that had even lower mileage on this unless somebody's been storing one without using it at all. Just, you know, over 1,000 miles is phenomenal. I mean, to the extent where you kind of think, has it been clocked back? But I've checked it, got it from the Ducati dealers, and checked the MOT history, checked the service history, had a really good look around the bike. I mean, like, the grips are like brand new, the center stand's like brand new, the sorts of things you kind of notice. Whether even if it had been stored outside, you'd kind of get for 5 years you'd get certain kind of telltale signs that it hadn't been looked after. But this one has been stored in a dry space, because it really is like new. And I'm sort of just sorry to say that Ducati are not making the 1260 bikes anymore, because they really have got a character that I haven't found yet. The combination of this upright position, the agility of the riding style, the sound of that amazing Termignoni full race system exhaust in a tunnel like this, it just is amazing. And I did take out the Multistrada V4 and V4S for test drives, test rides. Didn't do it on camera, and I just wasn't impressed. I mean, I just didn't get the same feeling at all that I get with this bike. And no disrespect to anybody who's gone out and bought the Multistrada V4, because I'm sure you guys love it, and it does everything you want it to. But for me, there were just a few things that were just a bit odd for me on the bike. Certainly the ones I test rode. One was the suspension just felt hard in whatever setting. Now, I've always said previously, when I had this bike, the Multistrada Skyhook suspension is phenomenal, and it just is. I mean, look at the state of these roads here, and I'm just, people often say I'm just kind of like, it's just absorbing the bumps, but this bike really does. I don't know I haven't even checked what setting of the variety of settings from the softest to the hardest it's setting, but I'm going to guess it's probably somewhere in the middle, and it just absolutely is dealing with these roads like no other bike that I've experienced. So on the 1260S, the suspension is fantastic. When I tried it on the V4S and the V4 Rally, I didn't get that at all. I got quite a hard suspension, whichever suspension mode I put it in, so I don't know why that was. And also, I mean, handling wise, don't get me wrong, the V4S is fabulous for handling in corners. Very agile, very precise, really nice in that regard. Really easy bike to ride. Doesn't have the same character as this one in terms of, I mean, they didn't have race exhausts fitted to them. Maybe that plays a part in it, but just the sort of the weirdness of the engine being such of off-timed to give a four-cylinder the characteristics, feels of a twin. Well, for me it just didn't. I guess if you've never ridden a twin, if you've never ridden this bike and you jumped on that bike, you probably would absolutely think it's fantastic, because you're getting a sort of a certain vibration that is kind of one that only really you get with twins. Yet compared to the real thing, it just isn't like it. So if you like twins and you want to have that feeling, then there's no real substitute, in my opinion, of course. Yes, my opinion. And you get the twin, you go out and get the twin, which is what I've tried for some weeks now to found one. Really pleased with it. Fantastic bike. Can't praise this bike enough, really. Obviously the model, the Multistrada 1260S, and this individual bike, because of its perfect condition, incredibly low mileage. Combination of those two things. So I'm not really out and about today because I am selling the R1150 and they're coming to collect it. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. What the hell is he doing here? Well, it is a nice sunny day, and being out on the bike with storms forecast a little bit later, and so I'm not going to be out for too long, but just thought I'd take the opportunity to get out because it is a nice warm, dry, sunny day. I'm just stopping here in the shade a little bit in one of my usual spots if I'm going up to Scarborough or anywhere around York, or anywhere that sort of takes me through this area. I tend to use this B1222 road, and there's just like a little stopping spot at the side here at the top of it. No facilities here, no food or drinks or anything, but I start bringing my own water now as well because everything is just so ridiculously expensive. So anyway, this is the Multistrada 1260S. It's the bike I've been trying to get hold of. It's got lots of nice little sort of carbon details on it. And as I say, very low mileage and in fantastic condition. It needs a bit of a clean now because I've been out on it quite a bit since I got it a couple of days ago. It's got the full Termi exhaust system on. You can't really see that because I've still left the panniers on for now. That's sort of tucked just kind of under there. Now you can just see the end of it there, and various other little bits and pieces, like the guy who had this before has had all these little Ducati performance sort of things put on it, and little bits and pieces, and various, like the rear mudguard or fender or whatever you want to call it, it's carbon as well, so lots of carbon on it. I've put my original comfort seat on, which doesn't look massively different to the normal seat that comes with it, but it is slightly more comfortable. In fact, I'm not having any problems today at all with that seat, which is good. Now on the other one I did all this front in carbon, but I'm not going to do that on this because I quite like, and in fact at the time when I did the other one I thought I actually preferred the red than the carbon, and it saves an absolute fortune anyway. Whether I will get the Evotech, probably get the Evotech guards and engine guard. I'm sort of surprised that the guy who had this previously had all of this carbon stuff put on but didn't get those more practical kind of protection things on, which also do make it look better. And again, he's got these like Ducati performance kind of billet aluminium things on. So it's a bike in fantastic condition. Just been spraying a little bit of brake cleaner in that front brake to see if that makes a difference. It just slightly binding, very low speed you can tell, so obviously it's slightly binding all the time. Maybe at higher speed it's throwing the discs off, the pads off the discs. So I'm gonna have to check that out. It could just be the surface of the discs with it being stored for sort of 4 years or whatever. Could be something like that. Hopefully it isn't, warped discs or something else. Usually that happens when discs have been used a lot, as far as I'm aware, rather than when it's stored. So nice colour, nice condition paintwork, and running incredibly well. So I've still got the KTM in the garage as well, and kind of trying to decide what to do with that. Probably going to keep, because I've literally had that for just over 1 week from brand new. Still a whole stack of accessories are at the KTM dealers near to me. And I did ring him and say, you know, look, how about buying it back off me? Realise I'm going to take a loss. But obviously you've got all those brand new accessories, like 5 grand's worth of accessories. Could you refund me for those, and can I take a hit on the bike, and would you buy it back? And he said no, he had too much stock, he had no room, was the reason he gave, which, if I'm really honest, is a lame reason. Yes, he's busy, yes, he's got lots of stock, but I'm sort of a good customer of their combined dealerships, and I'm just beginning to think these days that a lot of these dealerships are not really putting the customer first. Well, did they ever, really? Probably not. It's all just based on their own commercial interests, however they try and put words around it. So, yes, I've got a little bit of a run to do now. I'm going to start heading back home shortly. Just going to have some water to rehydrate in this fairly warm weather, particularly when you're wearing all of the I've got all the rucker gear on today, because with the reports of these thunderstorms coming a little bit later, I didn't want to get caught out. I went out yesterday in the jeans and stuff, and yesterday I had some problems with the DJI mic, the wireless mic that I'm putting into the helmet and then into the side of the DJI action cameras, and it worked for so long, and then you could sort of hear it kind of almost disconnecting randomly, and then eventually it kind of just like makes a buzzing noise, like a high-pitched whine rather than actually recording anything. So I don't know whether it's that unit that's faulty or whether it's just the design isn't really that good and it just kind of works its way loose or something. Didn't actually have it in the bike this time on the camera mounted to the handlebars, had it on the camera mounted to the helmet to give it that little bit of extra kind of suspension of the old body, taking out any bumps that might have vibrated it free. Don't know, but it is driving me mad a little bit with all of the sort of things I'm trying to do to get videos made, and then all of the challenges that I'm getting seem to be all focused around the audio side of things. But these things are sent to triers, and triers they will. But thank you very much for just dropping in and watching this little video, which has really told you nothing other than I've gone back to a bike I had back in 2018, and it is the 2018 Multistrada. Really pleased with it, really glad I've been able to get a very low mileage version. I'll be looking at I think Trevor Mould has put up some videos on YouTube about his experience, and he talks about the Palmer screen. Kind of, there's a whole sort of thing that goes behind this screen in here that raises the screen kind of more upright, so you get less turbulent airflow across the helmet, because with this actually there's a lot of turbulent airflow. In fact, I can't remember it being that bad on my other bike, and I'm beginning to think that when I originally got that bike I ordered it with a touring screen which may have been a little bit taller, and therefore I didn't get as much of the wind blast on my helmet from that one. But I'll have to have a look into that. Do I need another screen? Probably. Do I need this mounting bracket system? Yes. I started looking at it on my phone a little bit earlier when I was stopped at a cafe, but I'm going to have a look properly when I get in front of my computer screen a bit later. And it's going to be another one of those things that goes on the order list. I've also got on order that proper bracket for my XT2 GPS sat nav, so I'm waiting for that to be delivered from Touratech. So the cable and the mounting block that goes for that other one, which will just fit onto this Ducati bracket here, It's still going to be a bit wobbly because they always are a bit wobbly on these kind of extended things. It was on my other bike, but as long as it's secure and gives me the option then to be able to actually see where I want to go and plan more detailed routes, that to me is the benefit of the XT2 and the XT presumably, is you can map out specific routes, choosing the roads you want to go down as far as I can tell, which means you can avoid, like today for example on the A64 going up towards and beyond York. I was trying to get to the NY500 cafe today and eventually stopped at an American diner en route because the traffic was that bad, and had a burger there, but to be honest left most of it, wasn't really that impressed. So hopefully at some point I do get to check out this NY500 cafe. There's lots of summer left and lots of biking miles to go. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon. Bye bye for now.